Hello, I welcome you to a new episode of my Astro podcast. Let's talk about astrology. If you know me already, then I do always episode postings and publishing when we have a new moon or a full moon in front of us. This time it will be the full moon in Scorpio, which happens on the 12th of May in Central European time, summertime. It will be exact, that means radially, really opposition of Sun and Moon at 6:54 p.m. So we will see it, of course, this full moon when the sky is clear already before and afterwards. The really round new moon in Scorpio this time. So Scorpio in the archetype is the sign of a transformation and of taboos and very intense. So in the next part of the episode, I will talk about the associated planet, which is Pluto. Pluto is a real interesting, very far away planet or dwarf planet really. So it will be interesting to look a little bit deeper into this planet. For the opposition of the Sun and Moon, we have it happening in the fixed signs Scorpio and Taurus. So the Sun is still in Taurus and opposite the Moon in Scorpio. This will be an opposition of fixed signs, where Taurus is the one hold more on material and financial things, whereas Scorpio is more on traditions and something they want to keep in memory like the past. So both are very keen to hold close to something they value the most. So it's very well an axis where we have sometimes obsessions in the part of Scorpio happening, or in the opposite, stubbornness, like Taurus can be, when they really are very focused on something they want to hold close to them. So it's very well interesting where you have this axis, this full moon happening in your chart. For me, it is happening in the AC/DC axis. So very important and deals mostly with the first and seventh house. So to say with relationships, partnerships of each color or type. So this will be for me very important in terms of relationships, partnerships, something like that. If you have some idea where this full moon is happening for you, you can write down in the comment box, and it would be interesting if you want to share. So let's dive into the next planet I want to discuss here, which is Pluto, the transformational planet for a very deep and intense change that can happen through Pluto transits and Pluto natal chart placements. See you. So let's dive deep into the Pluto transits and about what Pluto as a planet or dwarf planet would mean, which is of course not so shallow. It will never be shallow with Pluto. So let's start with the astrological meaning. Astronomically meaning, I mean. So Pluto is recently by the International Astronomy Union, IAU, defined as a dwarf planet. Before it was a planetoid, because it's very far and very small planet. It's the farthest planet from our sun and is discovered 1930 and got the status, as I said, as a planetoid first. It's very long lasting, going around the sun. So its turn lasts 248 years. And this is, of course, too long for a lifetime. So we will never have experiences about a full round of Pluto in our lifetime. You can see the planet here, which is a little bit dark and really very unexperienced and undiscovered because it's so far away. When we look into the mythology of Pluto, we know always the Greek myth of Hades, which is the Greek name for Pluto. And we have Persephone as the daughter of Demeter or Ceres. She was robbed by Hades. So the god of the underworld, as Hades or Pluto is also called, it's the brother of Jupiter and Uranus. And he raped Persephone and made her his wife. So Demeter, the mother of Persephone, was very sad and desperate of her loss because in the underworld she had no access because she is the earth goddess. And Zeus, Jupiter, did not help very much. So she went in her grief to disregard her duty. That means going on the earth and look for planting and growing on the earth. So that brought a lot of massive drought to earth. So all plants died from it. Now, Zeus and gods granted a compromise. Persephone could spend 2/3 of the year on Earth and 1/3 in the underworld with Pluto. So to say, Demeter got Persephone back for a little period of time each year. This myth was also interpreted as a symbol of the seasonal agricultural cycle, a metaphor for the soul's descent to earth and return to heaven, and is light and shadow of human consciousness, which is, of course, very much what Pluto talks about, this deepest transformation. Here you can see a photo of Pluto's abduction of Persephone on a unicorn, which is painted by very famous painter Albrecht Dürer. It looks very rough and very crucial and cruel. So let's go further with the Pluto symbolic. The planet is named after the Roman god of the underworld Hades, as I said already, and its astronomical symbol is seen here. We have also alternative symbols, but I keep to this one because it's used in the modern times, mostly. Together with Uranus and Neptune, the so-called generational or spiritual planets in the realms beyond the material world, which ends with Saturn in the sky. When we look for the distance between Sun and Saturn and beyond. So the beyond planets are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. The three generational planets, because they last so long in each sign and go so slowly around the Sun that we can see generations that are under the influence of Pluto when we have the natal placements in the chart to discuss. And I will do that later in this episode. So zodiac is ruled, and the zodiac that rules by Pluto is Scorpio. And the old ruler, when we haven't discovered Pluto, it was Mars. And it's also associated with the 8th house, which is often called the house of taboo, power, and resources. The interpretations of Pluto can be roughly intensity, death, and rebirth, commitment, false, sometimes ideals, transformation, metamorphosis, crisis. The mission or the motto of Pluto can be also, as for Scorpio, I transform. So as said, Pluto in astrology, and here we have a nice Walt Disney animal, which you all know, which looks a little bit hasty and a little bit funny, which is of course another color of Pluto and a little bit ironic. But Pluto in astrology is never shallow and intense in all this little planet, what all this little planet touches really. It stands for power, whether it's the upside, which the downside, which is manipulation out of personal intentions, or in the upside, the reconstruction in a non-personal or social dimension, which is of course this generational aspect more. So regeneration from a deep crisis manifested in a disease or mental illness can be also standing for Pluto. Transformation or the fallen angel, which needs to say that Pluto can sometimes be like a fallen angel, that you have your lessons and you have your deep crisis, and afterwards you need to stand up alone and face all the reality with all the consequences of your own play and of your own actions. Also, live and let die, which is of course also a nice theme of one of the episodes or one of the Scotland Yard krimi with James Bond. So live and let die is mentality that leads from destruction to rebuilding, really. So we can also say it's the inner child work where we face our own shadows and control issues. Where do we have to let go? Where do you feel more controlled by others? This is also the question under Pluto influence. Investigating trauma and diving deep for finding the truth. We don't want to stop with the shallow or superficial things. We want really to find the truth. And this truth is sometimes not so easy and not so light to accept, which is also very much talking about Pluto's realm. Okay, now what will follow will be the generational aspects under the Pluto influence in the signs, which is of course interesting and will give some clues for some generations what they have to do on Earth when they are born here. So we will start with Pluto in Cancer, which is for the generations that are born in 1914 and up to 1939. So these people are old these days, but some are still alive. My mother, for example, is one of this generation. So these people experienced 2 world wars and the Great Depression. So very mystical and very deep cutting experiences in the population or in society, in the whole world. So their motive in life is finding new sense of safety and security. So this is also what Cancer stands for. They lost a lot of safety and security during these very fundamental events. And that's why they need to find this probably in family and home situations, mostly. Let's move to the next generation, which is Pluto in Leo. So these are people born from 1939 up to 1958. So this generation is called the so-called baby boomers because there are a lot of people born in these days. They have, as Leo itself, a strong sense of individuality, creativity, and self-importance. So their desire for recognition and admiration is vivid to leave their footprint and legacy. So they are very much outsourced and outgoing. So they like to present something, they like to shine in their own light, and they want to fulfill something which is for others to leave a foot and really a big impression. Also in these years, the celebrity culture emerged, where we have really stars and little stars and really famous people who are standing out of the population, of the society. That started in this Pluto in Leo period. The next one, Pluto in Virgo. These are people from 1957 to 1972. This is also my generation Z. They need to clean up the mess of the previous generation, so to say, which is of course Virgo theme. Their mandate is to serve, improve, and create value. They possess a strong work ethic with focus on practicability and efficiency. So they are very much for proper scenarios, for people doing what they need to do, and for not being tired to remind people what is happening around them and what they need to do to better things. So, because they face economic instability, they engage in nature science to prove and analyze new techniques in medicine and agriculture. So, for me, for example, I studied agriculture and I was really professional in food safety and food security. What a big match that is, because my Pluto is also in the 10th house, which talks about profession and outer status. So let's move to the next generation, which is Pluto in Libra. Libra born people between 1971 and 1984, they are between the Generation Z, which was before, and the Millennials, which came after Libra people. So they are so-called Xennials. This group of people need to learn how to make relationships work because they face high divorce rates in their mother generation or father generation. Libra is a cardinal sign who values fairness and justice. They also want to work with a high perfection, like the Virgo Pluto people. But they have also in mind to have a high work ethic with the work-life balance always in mind. So they come up with a lot of harmony-seeking energy, where they want to live and not only want to live for work, but really want to work in a balanced way, so that they also have time for their private life and for something beautiful and lovely, which they value as well in the other world, out of the profession. Let's move to the next one, Pluto and Scorpio generations. These are from 1982 to 1995, the so-called Generation Y or millennials. These people are born in the digital media communication, but also remember life before the internet. So they are a little bit in between this analog and digital world, let's say. They need to reconcile the analog and digital world, therefore, with a focus on changing the world for better by learning lessons around power, unearthing secrets, and bringing about transformation, which is, of course, very much Scorpio themes. So the next one is the generation Pluto and Sagittarius. They are born between 1995 and 2008. This is the Generation Z or Zoom. These people are interested in travel, education, and multiculturalism. They are passionate to change the world for the better and being a better place. They are growing up in the digital world, not knowing about the old times without Facebook and so on. So they are more interested and exploring the world, like the whole place, what we mean by the world situation. And also they are very much inspirational and also philosophical, what it means to live in this world. So they make a lot of thoughts and ideas how to better the place, because it's not only for work, it's not only for fun, it's more for finding the right to live for everybody and to reconcile people all in the world, and to balance out what in the world is not right. The next one is Pluto in Capricorn, which is between 2008 and 2023. This is the Alpha generation. The people are still very young, but grow up to practical, disciplined, ambitious adults because they have a lot on their plate. They have a strong sense of responsibility and focus on themes like politics, sustainability, social justice, with a special interest in the environment. So they have really a lot to work on because the world is not that much better as we liked it to be. It's more that we have to embrace wholeheartedly all the work that needs to be done to really better the world and find solutions for most critical themes these days. Let's close it up with the Pluto in Aquarius people, which are, of course, not really adults now and even not even born, because these people are born after March 2023 with the ingress of Pluto into Aquarius. This is the AI generation. Of course, we know this is a big theme, not now starting with Pluto in Aquarius. These generations are born into the future, as I said. They are even not on Earth. They gravitate around Aquarius themes like the role individuals play in society, reformation, information technology, and artificial intelligence a lot. So there's a lot ongoing in this direction, and these people will really focus on these themes and how the society can be more conscious about technologically advanced and also inventions which are coming with a little bit hasty and abrupt, so that they need to value the progress, innovation, and the community, of course, because nobody wants to be really in a society where we do not have so much time to really produce value, because it's all very hasty and AI is also very technical, so that the emotional side of the human being is lost nowadays and is at risk. So Pluto in Aquarius will be concentrated on old values, perhaps also, and on physical and really social events where people can really meet each other on another basis, not only digitally and not only talking to a bot or to a roboter, or having more technical events and technical meetings, which is, of course, not human like. And people do not want to be in this technical environment because it harms them in a way, and it will forgotten that people are also born to meet with each other and to have social contacts. With this little insights of Pluto in the signs, I will close it up. And I hope you like these interpretations of the planet. Of course, we have also personal placements where we can see the theme and also the aspects more, what it will mean, the Pluto placement in our life. And we have also the transits to personal charts. So if you want to dive deeper into your own chart with your own burning question, you can ask me, of course, here in the comment box, but you can also write me an email or look on my website, which is shown here. So see you next time with the next new moon in Gemini with a new archetypal vibration and insights of this sign of Gemini. Bye for now, and have a nice and light time in Taurus, also with the full moon in Scorpio happening. Bye.